OBS. Okay. Fuck yeah. Oh, I'm just getting started, Yodi. I've been live for less than 2 minutes. But I have noticed that. Oh, I think I'm supposed to say something now. Hang on. Sorry, I was trying to pull up YouTube chat. Not that it gets used or anything, but I wanted to be able to look at it just in case. Whew. Hey, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Oh, we got Ogar in the house. What's up, Ogar?
Yo.
That was a pretty damn good live you had earlier, I must say. Glad I
I
could
felt like it
make it.
went pretty well. That last guy got pretty frustrating, but other than that.
Yeah. I'll say hello to everybody. I'm gonna grab my water real quick.
Well, hello everybody. Um yeah. As Loeb said, I did my live earlier, and now fortunately I have the opportunity to come hang out with y'all and have some conversations. So hopefully we get some folks who are, 18 plus and want to actually discuss evidence for God.
Got the water.
Dude, I've been trying to drink more just like water lately, so I've been getting like flavoring packets, and they have these like zero sugar Skittles flavor packets. Holy fuck, dude.
Do they come in beer flavor?
I haven't found that one.
I don't think I'd want that. Because, well, I was about to say watery beer, but I was like, I opened up a beer and it called it water because it's so watery, because it's light beer. So, I definitely do like a watery beer when I want something that's like refreshing. It's not for really the flavor that much anymore. Uh, let's bring up this guest here. Hey, Blursba, you at least 18?
Hello?
Hello, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I am over 18 years.
All right, what God do you believe in?
I'm a Christian.
Okay, well, Ogar and I are atheists. What's your best evidence for God?
Okay, well, one of the commandments is thou shalt not sin, and I believe that in mathematics, um, it's pretty clear that there's evidence of God because you're reminded of sin.
What's the evidence of God? So you told me that there's evidence, but what is it?
That sin exists in mathematics.
What is sin?
To go against God.
Oh, this is the guy who thinks that because the sine function is abbreviated SIN and that
This guy? I didn't I talk to
yeah.
you like last night or the night before?
I don't know.
I talked to him recently and I didn't go very long because there wasn't really any substance there. It was just this word
Okay, well,
tangent. The
Yeah.
tangent function also is abbreviated TAN, and somehow that's supposed to be Satan, and
Right,
it doesn't make any
right.
sense.
Yeah.
what about the cross?
Right. Yeah, the cross, exactly. Like how this is a T from this perspective, but then when you do it upside down, it's the sorry for the pit. I want to see a pit. Yeah. It's the contradiction symbol. but it also means
Definitely.
logical absurdity. So some idiot like could think that it means absurdism, like me. I could do that.
Okay, yeah, I could see how the plus sign maybe it doesn't. Okay, yeah, never mind. But what about sin?
Sin's a concept that comes from religions, right? Like Christianity has this concept of sin where you are contrary to God, you violate God's law. Within a covenant, right? You have a covenant with God, you violate the covenant, you've sinned.
Mm-hmm.
hmm Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to suppose that God exists in order for sin to exist. To say that sin exists presupposes
But
God
sin
exists.
does exist.
Well, in order to say that sin exists, you'd have to demonstrate that God exists. Because if God does not exist, then sin does not exist.
Sin exists in mathematics. Are you saying that mathematics doesn't exist?
No, sin's. Do you know what a homophone is?
A homophobe?
No, a homophone.
Homophone?
Yeah,
Not really.
right. It's a word that's not the same word that's said exactly the same. It's pronounced exactly the same way. And even spelled sometimes the same, like don't sink in the sink. Those are two separate words. One could exist without the other. They mean separate things. They're spelled the same way, they're said the same way. Right, they're not the same thing though. So sin in math is entirely removed from sin in the Bible.
It's also sign in math and sin in the Bible. So they're not even like the thing is they're not even homophones. Like
Oh,
it's
really?
just
Yeah.
like the creation of sign is spelled the way sin is spelled. So like yeah, if it was homophones, as Lobes has pointed out, it wouldn't mean anything. And the thing is, it's not even that compelling. Not that that would be compelling, but it's even less compelling than that.
So it's like spelled the same way.
Mm, yeah, damn. Okay, you got me there.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for coming up. Yeah, I didn't want to hear any more nonsense. Ogar, I forgot to do your theme song. Sorry, I love doing the like bass drop theme songs for all my co-hosts. Here we go.
You mother! Oh my God, dude! The disrespect.
I was gonna try to keep a straight face the whole time, and it lasted 1 second.
You motherfucker! Oh my God, dude! Oh my God, dude!
So fucking weak. That by the way,
I'm losing my shit.
Don't think that just because I played it, I was doing it in your live. I was not doing it in your live. But I found the sound effect in the studio. It's pre-programmed in.
Where? How do I?
So, down on the bottom.
I need a step-by-step instructional on how to get rid of that.
Right down on the. Hang on, maybe I can. Okay, while I'm doing.
fucking pulling up TikTok Studio right now,
Okay,
and you're telling me how to get rid of
I'm
that
gonna show.
shit.
I'm gonna. I just requested myself so I could show you real quick. So for everybody who doesn't know, if you watched, oh yeah, I could screen share, I guess. If
my
you ever
God.
watched Ogar's live recently, he's been having that sound effect play randomly, and he doesn't not know how to stop it. Let me see, add
I
source.
don't know why it's even playing.
Just
I cannot believe that you
display
just did that
caption.
to me.
That was amazing.
The disrespect.
Add source. Boom.
Oh my God.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay, this is gonna be real quick, guys. I just want to show this to Ogar real quick. So right down, do you see the magic wand?
Oh yeah.
The thing to the right of that, it says sound effects. Click on that, scroll all the way down, Nocturne. I just set it to Control O as a hotkey because Ogar. That's it. That's the one.
I don't understand why it's playing that for me. Oh my God. I will have my revenge. I just need you to know.
All right. In all seriousness, folks, we've got more people requesting. Let's try again. That's awesome. Oh man. All right, hey, Legna9999. Are you at least 18?
Yes.
All right, what God do you believe in?
I believe in the Anunnaki god Anu. And I also believe in creation, which is also known as holy death.
Anunnaki. Why does that sound like anime? Hang on. I've heard that before somewhere.
Have you ever heard of the ancient aliens?
Yeah, this is
Oh
like
yeah.
conspiracy theory stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Sumerian?
Anunnaki. I've talked to somebody about this before. Was it you?
Me?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've been on this chat.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is like the conspiracy that like there were ancient aliens that like seeded the world or something, right?
Yeah, like like we were made as slaves for
Okay.
a
Well, I don't really
planet
want
that
to talk
needed
about
some.
that. I would rather talk about God, right? So you said you believe in a creator God?
I believe in creation. I believe gods use creation, and I also believe that creation is inside of us. And I believe the throne of God, number one, is the subconscious mind. Dead to the conscious, time is in the conscious, the subconscious, your subconscious, my subconscious, all has no time. The
So what do you
past,
like when you say creation? What do you mean when you say you believe in creation?
so creation would be something that God, that somebody's belief of God would use. It's so male egotistical, it's so
But like, what does
matrix.
it do? Like,
It's
what is it? Are you talking? Because I'm
creation is
talking about the
something
creation of the universe.
to come into the solid physical 3D realm.
I
From
mean,
time into
uh,
time,
are you talking about the excitation of like the fundamental fields? Because that's where we get.
something that become like something that's in the 3D. My lips are moving right now talking. Your eyeballs are moving around. That's creation. You're moving, you're creating.
It's
It's
not creation in
creation.
the sense that we're talking about. Do you think that the universe had a beginning and it was created by God?
I believe the absence of life, death, is the creation of life. The absence of life, death is a mother, and it have you ever heard the term as within, so without, so within, or as above, so below, as within, so without?
Yeah, have you?
Every, yes, everything that's happening on the outside is happening on the inside. So if it's happening out there in this so-called universe, it's happening
Sorry,
inside.
guys. Like, I just cannot grasp onto anything he's saying. There's no way we're gonna be able to get anywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was like trying to find some kind of substance in there, but he's just kind of rambling nonsense. Let's try Stick. Hey, Stick. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 21, 22.
All
Okay.
right.
I,
Well, happy
my
birthday.
birthday's
Are
20.
you a believer in a god? Which one?
Yeah, so I'll present an argument for generic theism. So I'm not Christian. I'm not arguing for a specific God. I'm just arguing
Are you
for the
just like a
general.
general theist?
Yeah, I'm gonna present an evidence for just the like general theism, which is broad.
Fair enough.
It's not
Okay,
specific.
let's hear your
So,
argument.
so yeah. So we know there is reality. We know there is existence. So there's three exhaustive categories. Uh, so there's an impossible existence, which is something that cannot exist, such as a contradiction or something that is incoherent. So that's the first category, impossible
Okay.
existence, which is false. So, and then there's true with lowercase t, which is a possible existence, which is something that could exist or could fail to exist, such as a tree. A tree is truth with lowercase t because it could exist and also it could not exist. There's no contradiction in its presence or absence. And then there's truth with capital case T, which is something that is the opposite of an impossible existence. Truth
Like
with
necessary or
capital
something like that? Like you're saying like that would be
yeah,
necessary
yeah,
or tautology?
yeah. So the truth is is the opposite of an impossible existence. An impossible existence has 0% chance of existing. But
truth with capital case T or the necessary existence has 100% chance of existing, and the possible existence has above 0% and below 100%. So these are the three exhaustive categories. If we examine reality, right, so there's a few options. Either reality is constituted by a collection of possible existences, or a necessary existence, or a necessary existence in addition to possible existences. So it's necessarily the case that there is a necessary existence, because otherwise reality would have no explanation. So the set of all possible existences, it could have failed to exist. So the set itself, right? So I'll make a claim and then I'll guide you through the logic. So reality prior to any additions is God. So I believe that if we examine just abstractly the attributes of reality, it corresponds to the attributes of God. For example, reality prior to any additions, reality is eternal. It has always existed, because the transition from non-existence to existence is impossible. So we know that reality is eternal, and also God is eternal, so that attribute corresponds. We also know that reality is self-sustaining or independent, right? Reality has to depend on reality to sustain itself, because the alternative is impossible.
Would you like me to
Reality
write the
can't
premises
depend.
out? It feels like you're taking a long time to land a plane. I don't want to forget your premises.
Should you have questions, or
Let
you
me
want me
get,
to clarify
I've
something?
got, well, I just want to make sure I don't, because you're taking a while to get there, so I don't want to forget your premises here. So, well, remind me,
Sure.
P1 is that,
It's not like, it's just a collection of claims that they
right, but like
wove
the point is that the
together to
conclusion
form
is
a
that God
claim.
exists, right?
Yeah, it's not like a syllogism, but you could write a few important things down. For example, write down there are three exhaustive categories: impossible,
Well, I've
possible,
got that down.
and
I don't think I need to, like, there's
okay,
like, it's like, it
okay,
can't be true, it could be true, and it always is true. I got that.
yeah, yeah. So my claim is reality prior to any additions is just the necessary existence. Reality after additions is the necessary existence and possible existences. So we know that reality is eternal. And the
Yeah, I
reason we know
agree.
that reality is eternal is because the transition from non-existence to existence is impossible, because
Would you say
non-existence
that
has
this
no
is a fair
causal
way to put it?
power.
Reality prior to, wait, hang on, additional existent, additional, wait, additions.
Reality, reality prior to any additions is the necessary existence.
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
okay.
so then, yeah, so number one, reality is eternal. Number two, reality is independent. And we know that reality is independent
Yep,
because the
it's necessary.
alternative is impossible. Reality can't depend on something that is not real, so it has to be independent.
Yeah,
Another attribute of reality is that it's unlimited, meaning it doesn't have any limits. And the reason this is the case is because the alternative is impossible. For reality to be limited, something other than reality must impose a limit onto reality. Anything other than reality is not real. The only thing that can limit reality is reality, which means that reality is unlimited.
unlimited,
Yeah,
eternal,
so
and what else? There was like one more thing.
yeah, so it's all powerful because all power is real. I mean, you
All
could write
conceivable
that.
power. Is that what you mean, or just?
I mean, all the power that exists is of
Oh
reality.
man,
So reality is all power. I know this is abstract, but it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
become
So
more rigid
it's
and more
just like
clear.
I just kind of want to get to the point. So it's like, so you're saying it's unlimited, eternal. Do you think that that like all powerful is included in unlimited?
Uh, I guess, yeah. So,
Let's do
and
this.
reality, or the necessary existence is a mind. It's conscious, and
Okay.
this is more inductive, right? So if A gives rise to B, so the necessary existence gave rise to possible existences, and in the possible existences, we observe minds or conscious entities such as us. We can infer that the necessary existence is also conscious, right? So
How do you infer
something
that?
That's
birthed
not
of
induction.
Yeah. I would like to know how you
yeah.
infer
So
that because our minds
sure,
exist, that means that the fundamental reality is also a mind. I would
the
love to know how you got there.
necessary existence. Yeah. So if something is bereft of qualities, it cannot yield it. So if I'm poor, I can't give richness. I can't yield richness in someone else. If I'm stupid, I can't give rise to
I mean, that's
intelligence.
just obviously false, right? I mean, like even your example, if you're poor, you can't manifest richness for somebody else, but you certainly could, even a poor person could take actions that could result in somebody else being rich. But also, what you're really doing here is just a composition fallacy. You're just saying that, like, you're just assuming that if the parts of something have a certain
Okay.
property, then the whole itself, or the thing itself
Yeah, this is more
has that
inductive.
property, but that's a composition fallacy. So what I'd like you to do, since you said this is an inductive inference, I'd like to know the specific, like, because an inductive inference would require that you've examined a lot of different realities, determined that they all had some fundamental consciousness, and then you said, okay, well, it must be the case that all fundamental realities have some fundamental consciousness, but you haven't examined a bunch of different realities. So
Okay.
I just want you to explain how
Okay,
this
I'll
is an
give a
inductive
better
inference.
example. I'll give a better
No,
example.
no,
So
no,
can
don't give an
someone that
example,
is
Stick, stop. Don't give an example. Explain how this is an inductive inference.
yeah. So look, if could you just answer the question? If someone
No,
is
I want you to
completely
explain
stupid,
how it's
can
an
they
inductive
give
inference.
rise to intelligence?
Yeah, explain how it's an inductive inference.
If A gives rise to B, we
No,
can
explain how it's an
understand
inductive
B.
inference.
Okay, I'll rephrase. I don't need to say it's inductive. I could say we have reasons that to think this is the case. So
Okay, give us the reason without invoking the composition fallacy.
yes, look, if A gives rise to B, we can understand A through B by examining B. So
No, that's just the composition fallacy again. Do it without the composition fallacy.
okay, well, you keep using composition fallacy, but that's not what I'm doing.
Yes,
You
it is
don't
what
even
you're
know
doing.
it is.
It is. You're saying that, like, because
Okay,
the
well, what is the
necessary
composition?
existence, because the parts within this existence, the additions, as you would put it, have minds in it. That means that the whole, the necessary existence itself, is a mind. But you know what? There's also dicks in the existence. Is it also a dick? Like, is the necessary existence necessarily a dick because dicks exist?
No.
There's also incorrect ideas. Is it also an incorrect idea? Surely not. Like, just because
Okay.
minds exist doesn't mean that it also is a mind. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
that's like saying
eggplants in the chat.
that's like saying there are red things in reality, therefore reality itself is red, right? Like there are objects in reality that are only red and no other color. So then that would imply that
Okay.
under this inference rule, that would imply that all of reality itself is red but no other color. Unfortunately, then there are also other parts of reality that are green and no other color. So then we would have to infer that reality is green and no other color. So now we're saying that reality is both red and no other color and green and no other color. So as you can see, this leads us to a contradiction if we hold to this inference rule that you're giving us, Stick. So obviously, unless we want to say that contradictions
Are you
are
done?
true and reality itself has contradictory properties, it's probably a good idea to get rid of this inference and try something else.
Okay. Right. So I'll rephrase so it's more specific, right? So we can infer because the necessary existence gave rise to possible existences, so A gave rise to B, we can infer that the necessary existence is conscious
You're
because
just
we
repeating
observe,
the
for
same
example,
thing
DNA.
again.
Yeah, you're just doing.
With, like,
I'm going to
DNA,
rephrase, and by
consciousness
rephrase,
or
I mean I'm going to
intelligence.
literally say the exact same thing that I already
No,
said.
I didn't
and
say
completely
that.
ignore every bit of critique that you guys gave me.
We can say our same
which is
rebuttal.
empirical
This
evidence.
can of beer contains beer. That means the can is also beer. That's what you're saying.
No, I didn't repeat the same thing. I said DNA. I introduced something new. So
you said it
DNA
verbatim.
points.
Yeah, you said the same thing, and you're just making the same fallacy.
I
again.
added
If you're
DNA.
saying stick,
something new.
stick,
That's not the
stop,
same.
stick, stop.
Dude, I'm
If
talking
you're
to
just-
the host. Why are
Dude,
you even on?
stop.
Here? You're
Stop.
just another guest.
No,
No,
he's a
I'm not
host.
just
I
another.
don't care what you say.
Yeah,
I'll
Well,
talk to
then-
the host or I'll leave.
yeah.
So,
Then get the
I'm
fuck
not
out of
interested
here.
in talk-
What the fuck is your problem, man? We're trying to have the conversation. We're actually
Why
trying
are
to
you
help
emotional?
you. We're trying to.
Why
Yeah,
are
I'm
you
so
so
emotional. Oh, I'm so emotional.
Just mute yourself.
I'm trying to
I
help
didn't
you.
even.
We're trying
I
to
got on
help
the
you
panel to
with your
talk to the host,
argument,
Stick.
and you're
so I
refusing
didn't
to
repeat
listen.
myself. That was a lie. I introduced DNA, which is reasons to think that the necessary existence is intelligent
No, it's
and
not.
conscious. Yes, DNA points to the fact that the necessary existence is intelligent because
Why? How does it do that?
How?
yes, so just like a computer would point to an intelligence behind it,
Nope.
DNA also points to intelligence
No. That. How does? What's
behind
the
it.
connection between the two?
Yeah, so how do you get complex systems
What's
from
the connection between the two?
random physical processes?
What's the connection, Stick?
Yeah, so complex systems require guidance. Random physical processes are unguided, so random physical processes cannot give rise to a computer or DNA. Or
Well, I
complex
mean, that's
systems in
obviously
general.
false. And then also another
is that
issue that
false?
you're going to have here is that what you're doing is you're saying, because this thing in some respect resembles this other thing, like A somehow resembles B, we know this background information about B, therefore we're going to apply that background information to A. That's another, that just, it doesn't follow. Like,
You
there's
don't
no
need
reason
background
why. I
information.
don't know why you think that you have to interrupt me every time I'm talking. There's no
'Cause
reason
I
why.
don't want to talk
Yeah,
to you. I
again,
wanna
you're just
talk
going to
to the
interrupt
host.
me because you know that you can't actually handle what I'm saying. If you
you're-
weren't
'cause
afraid of
you're
what I'm saying,
emotional.
you wouldn't have to interrupt me when I'm talking. What I'm telling you is that all you're doing is you're trying to apply background information that we know about DNA, or excuse me, about computers and computer code and stuff, and you're trying to apply the inferences we draw from that background information to DNA. The problem is the only reason we're able to make those inferences about computer code is because of the background information. We don't have
No,
similar
that's
or
not the only
comparable
reason.
background information for DNA, therefore we can't draw the same inferences. So if you
Okay.
want to draw an inference that
Okay,
DNA
just
was
please
made by
finish
an
quickly.
intelligence,
Yeah.
you would actually have to give some reason to think that without pointing to something else that we have different background information for.
Okay, so your claim was that background information is necessary. And I'll ask you a question to show how this is false. If we went to an alien planet and we found like an extremely advanced piece of technology and we have zero information about its background, we have no clue if the aliens existed, what kind of aliens they are, if they're intelligent, if they're not, just by examining this piece of technology that's very, very advanced.
Yeah, again,
can
you're
infer
poisoning the
that
well here,
it is-
Stick, because what you're doing is you're trying to stipulate this as technology, and obviously if we knew that it was technology, then we would have the background information of what
alien
we already
technology.
know about technology,
it's
and we
not-
would be able to apply
it's
that
not-
background
it's not human
information.
technology.
So by stipulating
No,
that it's
we-
technology, what you're doing is you're actually, again, you're poisoning the well. If what you would have to say is that you go to some other place that you've never been before, and you find something that you've never seen before, and you don't know what it is. Okay, well, if I find something, if I go to a place I've never been before, and I find a thing I've never seen before that has properties that I'm not familiar with, yeah, I'm not going to be able to determine whether it was created by an intelligence or a natural process because I don't have the background information. You're trying to sneak
don't need
in
the
the background
background
information. You're
information.
trying to,
Right.
hold on. You're trying to sneak in the background information by calling it technology and then pretending that this is a way we could prove that we don't need background information by sneaking it in. So
Right,
you need
Dick.
to give an
Yeah.
example without doing that.
Because if we know that it's technology, then like that's what Ogre is saying is that if we're able to tell that it's technology, we are invoking our background information. We know things about technology, and that's how we would have determined that
it's
it
an
is.
alien technology, not a human technology. So okay, I won't use the term technology. I'll abstain from using that phrase. So I'll give you another example. We go to a planet that is like 3 billion light years away. We get there, and we find this object, and this object, there's like a hole where you could put like dust, like moon dust. You put moon dust in this hole, and then it creates a unicorn. Let's say we found this object, right? It converts the dust to a unicorn, and we have zero background information about this object. It's a very, very advanced object. We've never seen the aliens behind it. We don't know if there are aliens behind it. We don't know where it came from, but an intelligent person would infer that it did not.
No.
This object
you can't
does
infer
not
that.
come from physical processes.
We'd
No,
have
you
to
can't
study
infer
it.
infer that.
intelligence.
We'd have to actually
we
study
studied
it.
Yeah, we can infer that this object emerged from intelligence. So we can say aliens created some kind of aliens.
What is the
created this
specific
object
feature
without
that you're
observing.
using to infer that there was intelligence in its design?
Sure. So something that is, it's a very, very advanced, so complex systems do not come by through
Yeah, now you're
unguided
just
physical
begging the
processes
question.
because they require guidance.
No, now you're just begging the question.
Okay, so
The whole
what's
thing,
your
the whole
theory
reason why
how
we're talking
how
about
this
this,
object came to be?
stick. The whole reason why we're talking about this is that you're supposed to be providing some kind of reason why we should think that
I just
complex
gave you the
things.
reason.
Stop, dude. Stop. What
Okay,
we're supposed to be?
hey,
Yeah,
host,
okay.
I'm
Just
not gonna
interrupt me
talk
every
to
time
this
I
guy.
talk
So
because
do
you're
you
too
have a
scared
question
to
for me
engage
before I
with,
leave?
with actual
Hey,
criticism of your
host.
view.
Stick, don't
I don't want to talk
don't
to
interrupt,
this guy.
man.
So, no, I don't want to talk to this guy. He's emotional and he's being
Yeah, I'm so
unreasonable
emotional.
by saying we have no reasons
What I'm
to infer
telling
that it's
you,
intelligently made.
yeah, I guess if you're just too
So, do
afraid
you
to
have a
hear a
question
critique
for
of your
me?
view.
I'll summarize everything. So we know
No, I'm
something is
explaining the
eternal,
problems with
independent,
your view.
unlimited,
If you don't want to
and we
actually
give
have
rise
the
to possible
conversation, then you can get out
existences.
of here. Like, I
And
don't know
in
why
the
why you
possible
want,
existences,
like, I don't
we
know why you're
observe
going to pretend that you want to
DNA
have a
and conscious
conversation when all you're going to do is talk
entities,
over me.
so we can
Like, I'm
infer
trying to
that
explain the issue
it's
with your view.
intelligent.
If you actually
So
want
something
to
is
demonstrate
necessary,
that your view is
eternal,
correct,
independent, all
I
powerful.
don't even know what to do at this point.
Therefore,
Yeah.
we
Stick,
can
we're gonna go
infer
ahead and
that a
move
God
on.
exists.
Thank you for coming up, man. That
What I
yeah.
was, if I could just get out what I was trying to say, all I'm trying to explain here is that by saying the reason that we know this, this device must have been created is because complex things require a creator. That was the conclusion that he was supposed to be arguing for. So by saying that's how, yeah, exactly. He made it a circle by saying, well, the way that we know complex things require a creator is that if we find a complex thing, we can infer that it required a creator. Like, that's not demonstrating that complex things require a creator.
Yeah, exactly. That's the conclusion. It cannot be a part of one of the premises. That is a logical fallacy. I tried to bring up Salah. I never have luck bringing that person up. Never works for some reason. Let's bring up. Oh, his name is my PFP up but upside down. Hey, tautology, are you at least 18?
Hey man, what's up?
Oh, chilling. Talking to people about the existence of God. You at least 18?
Yes.
Okay. What God do you believe in?
The Christian one.
All right. Well, Ogar and I are both atheists, and we're going to start fresh. So new conversation. What's your best evidence for the existence of God?
I wouldn't say if you guys do this often, I might be out of my depth here. But are you familiar with the cosmological argument?
Yeah.
So it depends on your definition here. Would the existence of a creator count as a god to you, regardless of intelligence, or does a god to you need intelligence?
So I think a God would need to be personal. It would have to have some kind of mind.
So there could be an underlying creative force that started something, and you wouldn't define that as
Right, like
a god.
if it doesn't have a mind, if it doesn't have intentionality, it seems like it's just something that's natural, right? And that's not a God.
What, like, just arguing over definitions here, but like, what would make that not a god?
But because God is consistently defined as having character, as being a person of some sort, having intentionality. People will invoke God because they think that the world needed to be intelligently designed, not just happen. If there was no intelligence behind it, then it sounds like a natural process. And if you're just invoking a natural process, you'd be an atheist.
Well, not if that natural process arose out of nothing. I'm basically arguing like the domino effect here.
Yeah, that would still be atheism.
Oh, why not agnosticism?
Well, you could say that you're an agnostic atheist in that case, but it would still be atheism.
You'd be not theism, which is atheism.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but I guess the trouble I'm having is if that force arose from nothing, what would make that not a god? Not
That was already explained to you.
Yeah, we already
well,
answered
right,
this
and
question.
I'm right, and So I'm saying I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around that exactly.
Well, what is your definition of God?
Intelligent creator.
Right. So then, why are we even talking about God not having intelligence?
Because I'm curious about the way you see things.
No, you just defined it as an intelligent creator, and then you're saying, why can't a thing that doesn't have intelligence be God? Well, because it doesn't even fit your definition.
You argue with a bunch of people and you get, emotional and you have a lot of arguments. I'm not here to butt heads with you. I'm
not trying to butt heads with you either. This is just the way that I talk, man. What I'm telling you.
Sorry, if we start talking about God as something that's not intelligent, it's way off what we typically describe God to be, and it would just be a misnomer. It would be similar to me calling this mouse God because this mouse is not intelligent, and that's something that's usually attributed to God. It also did not create the universe, which is something that's typically attributed to God. It also is not divine, which is something that is not typically attributed to God. So I could ask, well, what's wrong with a mouse not being God? Well, it's because it's a misnomer. It has nothing to do with what the words typically mean. God, it has a mind. If you ask anybody,
I'm gonna stress that typical point there.
Look, the whole conversation here is, would this thing be a god? You've defined it in such a way where even under your definitions, it's not a god. So what are we even talking about at this point?
I'm speaking about a creator, not necessarily a god.
Okay, well, we're talking about God. So if all you're talking about is a creator, then we're not having the same conversation. And then what?
It's because my point is if there is a creator, what would make that creator not God?
We already went over this. We've already answered this.
Like
Lobes,
3 times.
We're just not.
Yeah,
I don't know
answered
why you
3
keep asking
times.
the same question.
Just you can T, just give your argument for the existence of God. We'll go from there.
My argument is the cosmological and
yeah, go ahead and just provide the cosmological argument and we'll discuss it. I just gotta look it up, I guess. If you're off the app, we can't hear you.
Everything we observe in the universe has a cause. A comes before B, 1, 2, 3 in a progressive, right? Like a domino effect. One domino has to hit the other. Everything has a causal effect. Right?
Everything
Something caused it to happen.
Everything has a causal effect is the first premise?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with your second premise.
Everything came from something.
That sounds like a restating of the first premise.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so what's the second
So
premise?
when you get down to the very first one, to set everything in motion, there has to be a first action.
Okay,
well, that just contradicts what you've already said.
Yeah, because you said that everything has a cause, so there can't be a first cause because that would be uncaused. That would violate your first premise.
Well, otherwise, we're just going around in a circle.
Your only premise,
what do you
actually.
mean?
We wouldn't be going in a circle. I mean, maybe we could be going in a circle, but we could also be going in an infinite line. We see things in the world and in the universe get created from other stuff that already exists, right? And the collection, the totality of all the things, the materials that make up the structures that we say come into existence, that stuff, that material, seems to have always been existed. It wouldn't have the same application of creation that we would be talking about on this macro scale.
Well, but why not? If everything came from something else.
So if everything came from something else, then I would just ask, if you're positing a God, where did God come from?
That would be the exact definition of a god.
What would be the exact definition of a god?
How did I contradict myself?
You're saying everything has a cause, and so you're basically saying everything that exists has a cause, and God exists, so the rational conclusion is then that God has a cause. If you're trying to say that God is uncaused, then you're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm saying that by being the cause itself, the very first one.
Yeah, there can't
Makes-
be a first cause based on the premise that you gave. If it's true that everything has a cause, then whatever you point to as a potential first cause what is part of everything, so that means it would have to have a cause too.
You'd have to
Just
workshop
humor me.
your first premise in order to make this not contradictory.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think the
Then-
argument that
then-
you actually want to give, is everything that begins to exist has a cause, the universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. That's the argument you're trying to give, and what you would then need to do to give that or to support that argument is that you need to provide some reason why we should think that the universe began to exist.
Did it
Hey, thanks,
not?
Follow Dragon.
We have no reason to think that the universe began to exist.
Follow Dragon's
you
going
not
crazy
think
with
you
the
exist?
snails. Oh my god. Hang on, I just
Why
want to
should we-
acknowledge, real quick, I just want to acknowledge Philo Dragon for completing the gift goal already. So thanks, Philo Dragon, for following us around with your deep ass pockets and giving us all the caps and the snails. I really appreciate you, bro. Yeah, so we can't say whether or not the universe had a beginning until we demonstrate one or the other to be the case, right? So if you think that the universe had a beginning, you'd need to demonstrate that. So how would you demonstrate that?
I'm not saying that it necessarily has a beginning. I'm saying that if everything comes from something, something had to have started that chain.
No, you're contradicting yourself again.
Yeah, that sentence is contradictory.
How?
Because you said everything has a cause, so something had to start it, but then that start would not have had a cause. So you're already excluding something from everything. Everything includes everything.
So your basic argument is
It's a critique, really, not an argument.
Yeah,
Okay,
neither of us have given an argument.
Fair.
The closest that either of us have come to giving an argument is me trying to give you your argument so that we don't have to keep going around and around with your contradictory premises.
So your critique is, I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
The critique is that if your position is everything has a cause, then whatever you think the first cause was must have also had a cause. So it couldn't have been the first cause. If you're saying no, there is a first cause, then you have to stop saying everything has a cause.
I'm
That's
saying
why-
logic. I'm saying there has to be a first cause.
Yes, then you need to stop
Yeah.
saying everything has a cause. That's why I gave you a better version of the argument.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, so stop saying everything has a cause, and then you will stop doing this contradiction.
Sure.
So what you need to say is everything that begins to exist has a cause. So then, in order for us to think that the universe has a cause, you have to demonstrate that the universe is in that category of things that began to exist. That's why I was asking you, why should we think that the universe began to exist? You have to put it in the category of things that have a cause.
Do you see
Okay,
the syllogism
that's
I
fair.
put up here, T?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you understand like how that follows?
Yes.
So what Ogar
You-
and I are
you-
trying to tell you is that you should workshop your first premise so that it doesn't say something like everything has a cause, because that can't be what you mean if you're trying to invoke a first cause.
So if the two of you understand the spirit of my premise, then why are you so fervently?
Well, that's why I'm trying to help you by giving you the actual, like, a better formulation of the cosmological argument.
He's running the Kalam.
And then I'm saying that
Sure. I don't debate people all the time. You sound like you do.
that's fine. So I'm trying to help you by giving you a better formulation of the cosmological argument, and I'm telling you that if that's the argument you're trying to give, which it seems like it is, then the next thing that you have to do is demonstrate that the universe had a beginning. Otherwise, we don't have a reason to think that it has a cause.
Except that everything sorry, accept that what is observable has a cause.
Um, everything
I
that
don't
is
think that that's
observable. I think that would
yeah, I don't
not
think that
include
that's
some
true at
things that
all.
exist that aren't observable.
Well, also, I mean, like saying that everything that's observable has a cause is just begging the question that the universe has a cause. Like you're just trying to define it in a way where we would conclude the universe as a cause, but I still don't see any reason why we would include it, why we would actually accept that everything observable has a cause. Because so now that's the new thing that you're going to have to
Hmm.
demonstrate for us.
Yep. Would you agree with this syllogism, T?
Sure.
Right. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Conclusion is that the universe has a cause. Now, this would have to if this conclusion is true, and I think that there's a problem with the syllogism, but if this conclusion is true, that would not necessarily get us to God. This would get us to a cause, a non-specific one. But I would challenge premise two. Do you think you can provide an argument that supports premise two?
Are you going to argue against your own existence?
No.
So then what's your issue with it?
We don't have a reason to think the universe began to exist. You need to demonstrate that we should think the universe began to exist. Give
Do
us
you
that's the
do
case.
you think you don't exist within the universe?
No, we do.
No,
The
we're not
universe exists. We don't know that it began to exist. That's what we're saying.
I see. The only argument that I have for that is that things have a cause behind them.
Yeah, that's the first premise. You're supposed to be supporting the second premise.
So if things have a cause behind them, how does the cause begin to happen
Yeah, we're not
from a state
we're
where it wasn't happening before?
yeah, we're saying that we don't think we have no reason to believe that the universe has a cause. The way that you are supposed to be getting us to believe that the universe has a cause is by giving us this syllogism. The problem is we're not going to accept this syllogism until you can demonstrate that the premises are true. In order to demonstrate that the premises are true, you have to show that the universe at one point began to exist. That's your dialectical burden.
By the way, this is T. The arguing this premise is usually the meat of the cosmological argument. This is what most people argue over the cosmological argument. And it kind of goes like back and forth and back and forth. Usually it results in people just showing that they don't understand what the Big Bang is or something, or they appeal to their ignorance, like I can't imagine the universe not having a cause or something like that. But I mean, I've never really heard any good support for the second premise, and it could be the case, right? I don't know that the universe is eternal. I think it is. Um, but we need to demonstrate it before we go around saying that it is with utmost confidence, especially when it seems like it's eternal.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know like what the best support is for this argument, I recommend looking up William Lane Craig. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. His support for this argument is also terrible because there is no good support for this argument, but he's the best there is at it. He actually is the one who popularized this argument. He gave it the name that it's known by. Like he is kind of the granddaddy of the Kalam cosmological
Right.
argument. So that's who you probably want to look to if you
Yeah.
want to see support for it.
And I actually I have a response to William Lane Craig as one of my pinned videos. I don't necessarily agree with everything that I said back then, but I think it's still a pretty good critique of it.
So what is the critique of it?
Well, it assumes too much. I was kind of just responding to the video, and he was listing off all the things, and I was counting all the assumptions. I counted, well, I don't want to spoil it, but I counted a good number of assumptions in the argument. You should go watch it. Anyway, I'm
Yeah,
gonna bring up
definitely.
another guest, T, but thank you for coming up. It seems like we kind of hit a wall there. We went in circles for a while, and that's because we
Yeah.
kept hitting a wall. Let's see. We're gonna bring up Winter.
Hey.
Wow. Thanks, Philo Dragon.
What's up, everybody? I'm
What's up?
27.
What's up, Winter? What God do you believe in?
The God of the Bible, God of Abraham, Jesus Christ.
Okay. Well, you sound very excited. So, what's your best evidence to believe in God? Or
Yeah, I'm glad we're
best evidence for
using the
God?
word evidence because people like to throw the word proof around
Yeah. Or
when having
well, I
these
mean,
kinds of
or
talks.
argument. I don't usually get evidence, but I would like argument is fine, evidence is fine.
So, best evidence that I think I could really give, it's all spiritual, which is going to be kind of the thing here because you guys are atheists, right?
Yeah, we don't believe in the spiritual.
Okay, so not nothing at all. Like you just believe we're purely materialistic, right?
I mean, I think I'm pretty
That doesn't follow.
physicalist.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily follow. Like, I mean, we could be Platonist, like atheists can be Platonists. I mean, believe in all kinds of things, but yeah, I mean, we don't believe in anything spiritual. So if we need to believe in the spiritual for your argument for God to work, then you would need to convince us that spiritual things exist.
All right, so I will do that. Now, what I want to argue here is that you guys do believe in the spiritual, okay? But intellectually, so in your mind, maybe even your heart, you might not feel that way, but I think you live your life that way. So, like, what I mean would be like an example, like
No, I don't want to hear
morality.
any of this stuff. This is totally irrelevant. Just give the demonstration that the spiritual exists.
Okay,
I don't
morality
like
is
this
the
mind reading
demonstration.
stuff.
Morality, okay. How is morality the
Yeah.
demonstration of the spiritual?
Because morality, by its nature, has to be spiritual, or else it just literally doesn't exist. It's just like a abstract concept that each individual has and, you know, kind of forges on their own to
No,
fit
that's
Okay.
not
whatever life
true.
they live.
I mean, you're just like completely discounting like thousands of years of philosophical thought by saying that. So it just this
I
just
don't
sounds like you
care
just
though,
don't know
but
what you're talking about.
address it. Why am I wrong?
Well, because I believe in objective morals and I'm an atheist and I don't believe in anything spiritual.
Okay, so you
And
believe
I
in
can have
objective
morals
morals, but what
without
makes
anything
them
spiritual.
objective though? If there's
Because
no
they are true
spiritual
states
force,
independent.
but how can you call them true? What makes them true? Like, so murder is wrong, right? Is that like an objective moral that you would adhere to, that murdering somebody is immoral,
Yeah,
wrong, or evil?
if we define murder as something like, you know, the unjust killing of another person, then yeah.
Yeah, but so here's going to be the problem, right? What defines unjust? Like what you
Well,
call unjust.
justice is just about fairness, treating
Mhm.
like cases alike. That's all
Yeah,
justice
but
is.
what does fairness even mean? Because
What
if
Treating
does
you're
like
the
cases
one
alike. I just
defining,
said that.
if you're the one
even,
defining
equal?
it, then I can be the one defining it. So you could define fair by saying, "Do unto others as you'd have done to yourself," but I
Yeah,
could define fair as
This is
this is just trying to play chess
yeah.
with a pigeon.
This is really disingenuous to think
no,
that
it's
we would
complete.
hold different ideas of justice.
I'm suggesting that you hold these ideas of justice because you do believe in God, even if you reject him with your intellect.
Well, God
See,
is
you
very
believe in
unjust,
objective
though.
morality.
Like, it couldn't be God because God is really unjust.
Well, that would be your opinion, and
Well,
you wouldn't be able to
it would not be
ground.
my opinion because what's just is what's fair, right? Punishments fitting
Well,
crimes is just. God gives punishments in the. You said you're a Christian. God gives punishments in the Bible that do not fit the crime, so he's unjust.
yeah, but who are you to say that? This is the issue, right?
I'm God.
Objective morality can only exist if there's a spiritual force
Yeah, that's the
to
claim.
enforce it.
hmm
That's the
So
claim. Yep,
if
you have to
there's
demonstrate
nothing
that that claim is
spiritual,
true.
here's the demonstration. If there's nothing to enforce a morality over
Yeah, that's
people,
just the claim again.
if I die
That's
and
just
I
the
just
claim
go,
again.
if
It's
I
just the claim
die
again.
and I
Winter,
just go to oblivion
Winter, do you understand
and
the
I pay
difference
no,
between stating a claim and supporting a claim?
yeah,
Okay, fantastic. So what you're doing is just stating a claim, and then we ask for the support, and then you just state the claim again. So it seems like you don't understand the difference between stating and supporting a claim. But now that you're saying that you do, fantastic. We can move forward where you don't just state the claim again. Instead, you support it. So why don't you try that?
okay. Objective morality needs a spiritual force because if you die and nothing happens, then it's just a subjective morality. Everybody would be living by subjective morality. You
Nope.
would think
That's
murder's
just
How
not
does
what
that
that
wrong.
follow?
means.
That's a non
Ted
sequitur
Bundy would
too.
think it's right. Who's right between you and Ted Bundy? You think it's wrong, he thinks it's right. Why do
So
you get to say that
here,
murder's wrong
here's the thing.
when
So
he
like
thinks it's right?
Winter, Ogar and I are not in alignment when it comes to this. I'm an anti-realist, so I would somewhat agree with what you're saying. I wouldn't agree with the conclusion. But Ogar, if you would want Ogar, you could, if you have it like prepared, an explanation for objective morals, because I've met several atheists that are of the same camp.
I've never heard a compelling argument for objective morality without some sort of spirituality.
Well, it's
Doesn't
obvious
even
that
have
you've
to be
never
the
heard a
Bible.
compelling argument for objective morality with spirituality either, because if you did, you would presumably you'd be giving it. But
Well, yeah, well,
I will
I can
provide you.
I can put my morals objective. I can say they're objective because
Yeah,
I'll say
sure.
that
So
if I
that was a
murder
really good way of
someone,
letting me
then when
explain
I
my position.
die, I'll face judgment by God, and
Yeah,
that's
Do
what
you,
really
makes
okay,
fun.
objective.
we can do one of two things. You can allow Ogar to explain how they can be objective without interrupting, or
Let's do that.
you can demonstrate how morals are objective with God or spirituality or something.
Let him give his point and how they can be objective without spirituality.
Yeah, so I'm an agent. What it means to be an agent is that I take actions to achieve goals. If I take actions to achieve goals, then I'm committed to the position that I should have the things that I need in order to achieve those goals. Freedom and well-being are prerequisites for achieving any goal. So that means that I have a reason to have freedom and well-being. If I have a reason to have freedom and well-being, then I also have a reason to think that others shouldn't interfere with my freedom and well-being. If I'm saying that others shouldn't interfere with my freedom and well-being, then that means that I'm claiming a right to freedom and well-being. If I get to claim a right to freedom and well-being based on my agency and my agency alone, then that means that all agents have a right to freedom and well-being. And a right to freedom and well-being is is a moral right, because that right would give every other agent a reason to take certain actions and not take other actions. And all morals are just the reasons we have to take certain behaviors in relation to interactions with other agents, and reasons we have to not take certain actions in relation to behaviors with other agents. So yeah, based on my agency alone, I claim a right to freedom and well-being. That means that all agents have a right to freedom and well-being, and violating that is what we would call immoral, because
Okay,
we have
well,
a reason not to do it. There would be a contradiction in your worldview if you take actions that violate
okay, well,
other
I'm an
agents' rights.
agent and I'm entitled to freedom and well-being. It's necessary for my well-being to murder people, and I have the
Nope.
freedom to do it. So
No,
if you
that's a
get in the
contradiction
way
in
of
your
that,
view. Nope,
if
that's a
you get in the
contradiction in your
way of
view then.
that, well, then you're
No,
actually
that's a
being immoral to me because
no.
in order for me to be well
Nope.
mentally, I have to murder people.
No, you're
See,
misunderstanding. I will
what the
happily explain
problem?
it.
The
I will happily
problem with
explain it. Are you
you
going to let
calling
me explain
yourself,
it? Are you
are
going to
you
let
gonna
me
let
explain
me?
it?
Are you gonna let me
Let
No,
Ogar
because you're
counter?
explain.
misunderstanding, and I'm trying to correct you.
He said there was a contradiction. Let him explain the contradiction in what you said.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're saying on the basis of your agency, you're claiming a right to enough freedom and well-being to murder people, but that means that you're also saying that those other people don't have the right to the same level of freedom and well-being on the basis of their agency. So you would have to be saying that agency is sufficient for a right to freedom and well-being, and it's not sufficient to a right to freedom and well-being. That's a contradiction. So
No,
yes, you would be wrong to do that.
actually, it was the first part of like your explanation of being an agent that I had the most problem with because it's presupposing certain things. Like if you were to go over that first part again, because it seems like you have it rehearsed. It seems like you thought about that a lot. I could show you specifically where you go wrong. Like just say the opening reasons as to what like the agent should again. Could you repeat that?
Yep. I'm an
'Cause-
agent. What it means to be an agent is that I take actions to achieve goals.
Okay, yep.
If I take actions to achieve goals, then that means that I'm committed to saying that I should have the things that I need in order to complete those goals. Like, for example, if it's my goal to, to pay my bills, and I know that I need to take the actions that I need to take include going to work and doing a decent job at my work so that I continue getting a paycheck so I can pay my bills, then obviously I have a reason to go to work and do a decent job and not get fired so I can pay my bills. If I
Okay,
have
but
a
you're an
reason to
agent
do
and you
that-
have goals, right? So assume this goal is to kill people, right?
yeah, then there would be a
Follow
contradiction in my worldview.
Follow the argumentation, but from a evil point of view. Like you
Yeah,
can.
I've explained the problem already.
You didn't.
Can
You
can
didn't
summarize back
objectify.
to me what I said?
You didn't actually objectify your morality just because you said that you're an agent and that you want things, you have goals, and that
So
you
he
should be able
he
to
did it
have the
logically.
freedom to go get them. Like
You missed
you don't.
the thing because the other people would also be agents, right? We're all agents, and each
So then,
agent is claiming a right to freedom and well-being. To say that because you're an agent, like because you are an agent, you have a right to freedom and well-being, and there are other agents that this is like modus ponens. If you're an agent, you have a right to freedom and well-being. You would say that I have a right to freedom and well-being, but these agents don't. So agents have a right to freedom and well-being, and agents don't have a right to freedom and well-being, and that would be the contradiction.
Well, yeah, it is contradictory because it's not actually grounding the morality into anything objective.
So
You're
you're
just trying to
agreeing that
subjectively.
what
You're trying
your
to
statement was
subjectively and
contradictory.
you're trying to subjectively and intellectually explain your morality, but you can't explain morality intellectually because intellectually it goes both ways. It can make sense to help people and it can make sense to hurt people.
So
Not
okay,
everyone
so
is the
it
same
sounds
as
like
you, so
it
not
sounds
everyone's
like
well-being is the same.
Winter, it just sounds like it's going over your head, but I would love to hear you explain how morality is objective from a spiritual source or a God source.
Well, as anyone who believes in any kind of spirituality, this is easy, right? The reason why the morality I adhere to is objective is we'll use murder again, is because God says murder is evil, thou shalt not murder. He gives me the free will to make a choice. I can go kill people if I want, or I could not kill people and be nice if I want.
hmm
Either way,
So
I'm going to live a life. And at the end of that life, when I die, whether I thought murder was right or wrong or whatever, whether I did the right thing or the wrong thing, won't matter because I'm going to stand before an all powerful God on Judgment Day
hmm,
who's going to have the final say. He's going to say to me, whether I thought it was wrong or not, he's going to say, no, that was wrong. And you're gonna go to hell for it. So now you're
right,
going to pay the
right.
price. If
So
you could
okay,
overpower
I
God,
understand. So
it wouldn't be objective.
if you could, wow. So if you could overpower God, then it wouldn't be So saying that
Correct.
the statement murder is wrong is an objective fact in your view. Now it's like it's true. So
Yep.
you said that it's true because God says it's true. Like you said, like
Yep.
God says it's wrong, therefore it is wrong. But it would not be objective if you were also holding to the stance that if we could overpower God, then we could change that which is objective. You
But
cannot
that's the
change.
thing, though, is
You cannot
you can't
change,
overpower God, though.
but you cannot change that which is objective. It is independent of any mind, any stance, any will of your own.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? It is independent of that. So it would also be independent of God. If it is objectively wrong
No,
to
it
murder,
is God.
it would if it
It
is
is
objectively
God.
if it is objectively wrong to murder, then it would be objectively wrong to murder even if God said it is objectively good to murder because it would be objective. God could do nothing about it. That would make it subjective if it was dependent on the subject, God.
See, I actually like where this is going because this allows me to dive into another thing about Christianity. God is unchanging. God doesn't change. He's been the same from the beginning as he is now.
Yeah, just run away.
That
That's
is
another
part of
good
what makes
strategy.
it so objective. It's because he's not going to just one day say murder
Yep.
is now suddenly okay. That's not
Oh,
what
he has in the
happens.
Bible. He has. He's
No.
Don't let
commanded
him
people to
pivot.
murder.
Don't let
No,
him
that's not
pivot.
true.
Don't
God
let him
has
pivot. He defined morals as being subjective and tried to call them objective. The
no. I
moral system
define
that you've
morals as
defined,
objective.
the moral system that you defined is subjective. If you
No,
don't
it's not. It's
understand that, then you
objective.
need to. What does the
You
word
are
objective
you.
mean?
It means that it's objective. It's true. It can't be another way.
Oh, objective means objective. Why didn't I know that? Well, how did I not realize that?
Oh
No, give
man.
an actual definition. What does objective mean?
Independent of anything else.
Yeah, independent of
Independent.
any stance.
You're right.
Yeah, so
Independent. Yes. Go
if
ahead,
it's
Ogre.
Yes.
independent of any stance, then that means it's not dependent on God's stances. But you defined a moral system that is dependent on God's stances, so it's not objective. That is
Yeah.
subjective.
Except when we as people use the word objective, we're also like when we come up with a definition for what objective means, we're coming up with it with the idea of other people in mind. So when we put in the definition of objective, independent of any stance, you're not thinking about God when they make that
Yes,
definition.
yes, that is
God
what the
is
definition means, dude.
God
Any
is the
stance.
stance. God is the
Yeah, that
stance. So
makes it
I get what
subjective.
I know that I get what
That's
you're
perfect.
saying. I get what you're pointing at. But here's why it doesn't make it subjective.
Yes,
It's
it
an
does.
It
objective
does. It
reality because God
definitionally
determines it
makes
to
it
be.
subjective. God is the subject. It is dependent on the subject. That makes it subjective. If you're not getting this, I don't have the time or the crayons for it, man. I really
All
don't.
right. All right. So if it's God's subjective opinion, then it's objective because you're going to be forced to follow through with what he
No,
claims to be
that's
moral or
subjective.
immoral.
That's
And
subjective
therefore,
moral.
if that's going to be how you live out your life, your experience, it makes
That's
it
fine. Just
objective to
admit that
you.
it's subjective. No, it doesn't make it objective. Just admit
It's
that
going
it's
to be
subjective.
And it
all
also
right.
doesn't.
If you
If
want
this
to,
is like a consequence thing too, that or like a do this or face the punishment kind of deal, then it's not even morals. It's being obedient under duress. You're not being good for the sake of being good. You're being good
well,
because
God is
you have
infinitely
a
holy.
metaphorical gun to your head.
God is infinitely holy, so he can't tolerate any evil in existence. So yeah, like
No,
you,
uh,
it's not like a gun to
infinitely
your
more.
head. It's more of a make the right choices and you won't
If
die.
he can't tolerate it, then it doesn't exist.
Well, it won't exist.
Well, then he's tolerating it for a
It's
period of time.
tolerated. It's exactly. It's only tolerated for a period of time until
But I
the
thought you
end.
said he can't tolerate it.
Well, he can't. As in, like he won't
You were
let it go on
contradicting
forever.
yourself a lot. Hey, man, I'm gonna
It's gonna
move
be
on to
over
a
at a
better guest
point.
here. Oh man.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Lobes. I unfortunately have to get going. I appreciate you having me up. I sincerely do. If you play that fucking music again, I swear to the God I don't believe in. I
Everybody
could see
give.
it in your face.
I wasn't going to. I was gonna play the real track. Everybody give Ogar a follow. He goes live. Don't tell me. It's Sunday through to Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Sunday through Thursday. You can catch him every night of the week, just weekends off. He gives you weekends off. He's really good at this. He's got pretty rapid success. I saw you had like 250 people in your live earlier tonight. That's awesome because you've been doing this for what, 2 months?
Uh yeah, 2 months, maybe coming up on 3. I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I mean, Ogar, this just goes to show that he's definitely worth listening to. Very logical, very coherent, easy to like. He keeps the shit on track. So if you like, I let it get off track sometimes. So if you like that, give Ogar a follow, um, and make sure that you catch his lives.
Oh God. Oh God.
All right, I've got maybe like another 50 minutes. I try to go for about 2 hours. And Ogar also typed in the chat, so if you've missed the opportunity to follow him while he was on panel, you can click his name in the chat. Now, earlier, you guys filled this meter, which had a warning label on it. It says, "Don't fill this, or I'll sing to you." And you guys fucking filled it anyways. So now I have to sing to you, but you were forewarned. All right. But holy shit. Um, You want screams? Man, I can't scream right now. I have to sing chill music. All right, so but what? Because I was gonna sing this one song, but I think it'll bum everybody out because it's like a sad song. So I won't sing a sad song. I'm gonna go through my playlist here. I had one picked out the other night, but I want to make sure that I Bon Jovi. I do love some Bon Jovi, man. They're classic. Bon Jovi used to be my favorite band when I was a teenager. Before I discovered, like, before I realized that I liked heavier music. Dang, man, this is like a... Look at these options. Holy shit. What's up with that? Anyway. Oh, you know what? I love this song. I just thought of it. And then we'll bring up the next guest. Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you? I'm not sure why I called. I guess I really just wanted to talk to you. And I was thinking maybe later on we could get together for a while. It's been such a long time and I really do miss your smile. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. We could go walking through Windy Park, take a drive along the beach, or stay at home and watch TV. You see, it really doesn't matter much to me. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. I won't ask for promises, so you don't have to lie. Whoa, 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 we've both played that game before. Say I love you, then say goodbye. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. Hey, oh my god, how do I pronounce your name?
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, address something.
Oh, yeah, how do I pronounce your name?
It's just a symbol in logic that's meant for, like, a set of sentences.
Okay.
But you can just say, like...
My PFP is also a symbol in logic. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've seen that one before, though. I'm new to studying logic, and that's not why I picked the PFP. But what should I call you?
You can just call me, like, Jason. It's fine.
Sure, Jason. You're at least 18?
Yeah.
All right. What god do you believe in?
I'm a Trinitarian, and like the last time you were alive, or maybe one of the last times, you had a prompt saying the Trinity makes no sense, and I was requesting, but I never got let up, and that topic seems to interest me.
Sure. Well, hang on. Let me do a poll real quick. Smiley face if you want to do the Trinity topic. Crying face if you want to stay on this topic. We'll let the chat decide. I'm okay with it, but I do have this prompt up, so I want to see what the chat wants to do. To vote, make sure you actually click the emojis. Don't type the emoji in the chat. You got 30 seconds to cast your vote. If it does go the other way, where we're going to stay consistent, would you be interested in talking about the prompt?
Probably not. I'm more like continental, like anti-rationalist in my philosophy. So I don't
Anti-rationalist.
really. Yeah,
If that means what it sounds like
I'm
it
not really
means.
analytical.
All right. Well, the votes are in, so yeah, I guess I'll talk to you next time. Jason,
All right, man.
thanks for coming up. Another one bites the dust. Okay. Um, Moomkin?
Yeah. Hello, hello.
Is it Moumkin?
Mumkin, whatever.
Mumpkin? Okay. Are you at
Yes.
least 18?
Just to say, English is not my language, you know.
Okay. What's your age?
28.
Okay. What god do you believe in?
Honestly, I was thinking to ask you the same questions
I don't
because
believe in
I
God.
want to know why. Yeah. So you are an atheist?
Yep. Yeah. So what god do you believe in?
Okay. I believe in the God in the simplest way. I mean, for me, it's the simplest way. Sorry if my English is not great, so it's
Sounds
going to
fine
be
so far.
horrific. Nice. For me, there is something that I do recognize for myself, that the world has a structure. If you see what I mean. I mean, if you look at it from the earth or the sun, have influence on the earth have influence on the weather have influence on the humans have influence on the society, etc., etc. You see, my vision, what I see it is there is a structure. Do you recognize that there is a structure?
I mean, there's a structure in a certain sense, but it's not the kind of structure that to me looks like it was put into place. It seems like the laws of nature converging on one another and causing this to exist. Like you said, like weather, for instance. I mean, weather does what it does. It does what it does necessarily based on the patterns of the vectors of particles in the air, and I mean, they can't really, in my opinion, it can't really do anything other than what it's gonna do.
Okay. So you see, my God is not a personal God. Like, it's not the religious God. It's not like the God to who you're gonna pray. He's like you. He's have some barb in the skies,
You
etc.
say it's not
That's
personal.
not
So
my God.
is your God, I mean, does your God have a mind?
Mind, like mine?
Like a mind.
Yeah, I see. I'm see. It's possible, but I'm not going that further. You see.
Can you define God
I-
for me? I just want to make sure that this will
Yeah.
be like on topic.
God for me is like whatever represent this world, like everything. Whatever we don't have an answer for what it is, this world, we're gonna call it God.
That's
see?
literally the God of the gaps fallacy.
Gaps fallacy.
The God of the gaps, yeah. You said whatever we don't have an answer for, we're gonna call it God. We make fun of people for doing that because it's like a common fallacy that theists do.
But it's fine for me. I don't know, like.
Because here's the thing, like it's a space filler, and it implies a lot of things that aren't necessarily the case, right? And maybe not in your view, because you seem to have a very basic idea of what God is. And I don't know that it even fits the description of what I would consider a God to be. But if we don't understand something, and we call it God, let's say an earthquake, for instance. Let's say we lived 10,000 years ago and we didn't know what an earthquake was. You would just say that's God. God is shaking the earth. Maybe you would say something like he's grabbing the earth and he's shaking it. You would be wrong, because in actuality, the tectonic plates are rubbing against each other and vibrating. Right? That's what's actually happening. So if we wouldn't have any data for that, we wouldn't have any way of conceiving of these plates. So we would always be wrong in our assumptions unless we randomly pulled out the tectonic plates as a hyper-specific guess, which is very unrealistic. But God filling the gap is wrong time and time again. The more scientific data we learn about, the more our theories are tested and hold up to scrutiny. Science consistently removes God as the explanation for things as history progresses, and I've never once seen an explanation that we have if we have a scientific explanation for something, I've never ever once seen that be replaced with God.
I see what you mean. I was about to say, like, of course, we used to think of God as the mountain. We used to think God about it's the sun. We used to think God, and then we evolved to think God otherwise until science became, and we understood more and more the stuff. But the thing is like earthquakes, we can understand it, but still, we can say who caused the earthquakes. And you can go back until the sun, the solar system, etc., until you're gonna go to the Big Bang. If you mean, you see what I mean? Like, there is something that was
Yeah,
in the
are you saying
first
that
place.
causation as we know it stems from the Big Bang?
I mean, the Big Bang is just the point where we just don't understand anything by the code or the mathematics or
Right.
our understanding stops there. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. So yeah, because our means start breaking down, like the math that we use, it starts not making any sense after a certain point when we start looking at the Big Bang. Now, in your view, it seems like what you would do is call that God or say the explanation is God. Rather, I would say that we ought not do that. God has been consistently proven to be not the answer in science the more we've learned. So it seems to reason that with that track record, it's probably something that's not God. I don't know what it would be specifically that is prior to the Big Bang or that caused the Big Bang in a very specific way. But I'm very confident that it's not God. I think that we can confidently rule that one out.
what is your definition of a God?
A mind that created the universe, or like a necessary personal foundation.
Okay, necessary foundation. When you mean mind, you mean attention, like there is a will to create.
Yeah, like
You
it's
mean
yeah, it's like it's basically a person that has like thoughts and like intentions. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so for me, this is the error of the religion nowadays. They're gonna give to God some archetypes, some specifics, like ours. There is something like I know it in French, like I don't know the word how to say it in English, but it's we always project our vision of the world into something else. Imagine you project your human views on the what
Yeah,
Earth
it's like it's
feel like.
anthropomorphizing. I agree.
Yeah,
But hey, Mimkin,
that,
like I mean, it seems like your view isn't really the one that I am having a contention with my prompt here. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to somebody who might be talking about the thing that I'm talking about. But thank you for coming up.
Just
Oh, I already dropped you. Sorry about that, bud. Feel free to come back if you want to chat again, but I think that it should be on topic. Hey, was that Sufi Yahoo? I'm bad at reading these names tonight.
Yes, Sufiyahu. How are you today?
Sufi Yahoo. Okay, I'm great. Thanks for asking. I hope you are. Are you at least 18?
I'm at least 18, yes, sir.
Okay, what God do you believe in?
No, I'm not. I don't believe in anything. So you're talking about evidence, right?
Yeah, or an argument's fine, but you don't believe in God?
Okay. Well, I'm an empiricist, so I'm just trying to present arguments underneath that umbrella of being an empiricist. One of which is, I mean, I know you were familiar with these, but I think that people are ignoring that this is possibly a participatory universe according to different views of quantum physics. That alone, whether you're following whether you're following von Neumann or Eugene Wigner or Wheeler, is that the math itself in the Hilbert space says that you might need an observer just to have this universe exist.
Hang on, let me do a search on that real quick. Because I've heard about this before, but I haven't heard about it a lot, and it was a long time ago. Refresh the memory a little bit here. Mechanics, observers necessary for this to take on definite properties. Mainstream physics does not say the universe literally depends on observers to exist. The core claims strongest form. The strongest version says the universe requires observers in order to exist in a definite state. This is associated with the strong anthropic principle, which claims the universe must have properties that allow observers to arise, but this is controversial and not widely accepted physics. More is metaphysics, quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics introduces the measurement problem. A quantum system exists in a superposition until it is measured. Some interpretations, like the Copenhagen interpretation, say that observer collapses the wave function. This leads to the intuitive but oversimplified idea that conscious observers create reality. Modern physics does not require consciousness, just interaction. Still, the idea persists because quantum measurement does depend on observation and a technical issue. Now, this is something that I do know a little bit more about. Not a lot, but a little bit. When it comes to like the superposition thing and the what is this, like touching on the uncertainty principle, right? Where we can know a particle's position and its but like not its momentum at the same time. And this is because it's not because it's in like an actual state of two like contradictory things. It's because when we go to measure it, we fire a laser at it, and the photons are bombarding it, which has an effect on it and changes the other thing. But I don't know if this is exactly what you're talking about.
It's related, it is true. No, I'm talking about the original dilemma. And I would point out that if you're using AI or you're researching this, you have to tell however you just looked it up, whether it's Google or otherwise.
I just use Copilot for an overview.
Yeah, you have to, and only because I'm a nerd, I've been reading on this. You have to tell it to preserve the different boxes of arguments, because the Copenhagen versus the multiverse, or versus this whole idea of a observer needed to object the initial state of the universe. The point is that it's reasonable, these different arguments. I don't even know which one's true, and that's the best. But that is good evidence from mathematics and from quantum physics that the beginning of this universe even needed an objective observer to have this universe exist. Von Neumann argues that that entity has to be outside of this universe. It can't be in the universe, because the universe can't make itself decohere. And I'm only mentioning it because and by the way, and I want to point out, I'm not talking about a big G God. I'm talking about a little g,
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, and this is just coming from the perspective that there would have to be, in your view, there would have to be an observer in order for the effect to actualize, like the beginning of the universe.
But I'm not saying it's probative, right? That's why you have the Copenhagen School. You have a lot of different physicists who disagree on this, but they don't disagree that this is a possible solution in the Hilbert
Yeah.
space for the existence of the universe.
It just seems like it's something that, well, for one thing, this is far out of my depth, so it sounds like it's something that you're undecided on as well. Um, and like if we aren't able to confirm with this, especially when I don't understand it that much, I'm not really going to be able to get a whole lot out of this. It seems like there are critiques on both sides of it, and until there's more consensus, I don't really know what I can say about it.
Okay.
But also, like, if you're talking about an observer being a little g god, it sounds like you might be referring to something like um, just a standard individual, perhaps, for instance, that's like metaphysical to us, at the very least.
No, not even metaphysical. Hilbert space allows entities that are 10 or 20 dimensional to be observers.
Right, but that would be metaphysical. That would be
No,
like a higher
because
higher dimension.
it would be mathematical. That's true, but not metaphysical. Just because we already have. That's the whole point of string theory, is that they're arguing about the math and the reality of 10 or 20 dimensions. That's not metaphysical or anything else. It's just part of what quantum physics possibly is saying.
Right. Well, that's what I was kind of meaning in that sense. So maybe I don't know if there's a differentiation or rather a distinction between metaphysical and something just existing on a higher dimension, but that's what I was referring to. So something that's on a higher dimension, whether it be a fifth or a sixth or a 10th or a 20th, it's just a potentially standard person observing from a higher dimension. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Um, an observer, that's the term that von Neumann uses, because otherwise we're, like you said, we're
Anthropomorphizing,
anthropomorphizing.
right? Observer.
Yes, sir.
It's not
Yeah.
necessarily a person, perhaps a person, but not necessarily. Could be any kind of observer, even I don't know. Would you say a camera would suffice? Like a metaphysical, or not a
That you're
metaphysical,
right.
but higher
That is
dimensional.
what some of the quantum physics schools say, is that it's just a that it but they that it's just the act of observing, or really more to the point, it's the act of decoherence spreading through infinite Hilbert spaces that creates. But they are not addressing the center of the problem, which is the how do you have anything interact if the universe is all contained in one point in one time? That's why you need an observer. Otherwise, nothing would decohere. We'd all be waves still. So, anyways, remember, I'm just talking about mathematics is the best evidence for a little g, not a
Mm-hmm.
big G.
I mean, I'm totally open to the idea of a little g god. Totally open to that. I don't know that I'm very agnostic about a little g god. I'm much more atheistic about the big G god, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I shouldn't have come up. I think we agree.
It's all good. So you're basically an atheist when it comes to that too.
I would say I'm an empiricist. I'm an agnostic. I know those terms are not the same, right? Because I remember there's mathematics also is very strongly predicts, according to Sean Carroll, that we are probably ancestor simulations. Like there is truly a little g, and they've created multiple numbers of ancestor simulations, and we're living inside of one.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that I believe that, but anyway, yeah, thanks for coming up.
All
It
right,
was
have a great night, sir.
yeah, you too. It was very interesting. I had to think about stuff I hadn't really thought a lot about before. I've got maybe another like half hour in me. Let's see. Oh, yeah, cool. Music's on. Yeah, thanks again, guys, for being here. Thanks for all the taps. Thanks for all. Yes, you filled up the meter. I know it says don't, but of course it's just reverse psychology. I appreciate the money in the pocket and everything, all that good stuff. I really appreciate y'all. Thanks for the shares. How many do we get? 68 shares. You couldn't do one more? Come on. The perfect number was only one away. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I am looking for one guest. The guest box is open, so if you want to challenge the prompt, request and you'll be the very next guest. I go live. I say Tuesdays and Thursdays, but really I'm pretty consistent Monday through Thursday. I used to post videos a lot. I still have some pretty good ones put up there. Got some that are pinned. The look at the trees argument, I do a satire on that. Rat Soup just waltzed in here. I saw that, Rat Soup. The door squeak. Wait, wasn't there a thing recently where I became, like, it was confirmed that I was a squeaky door or something? What was that all about? I can't remember. Was that with you? Was that with you, Rat Soup? I'm a squeaky door. I can't remember. Was that a work thing? Was that something that happened at work? I don't know. I guess it would be an inside thing. I don't know if it happened on live or not. The scorpion and snake guy. Probably. Shit, man. I've like got dementia or something. Can't remember breakfast. Well, I can because I ate the same thing every day. But I don't know what memory I'm recalling. Is it today's breakfast or is it like last week's breakfast? Probably is that guy. You saying negative blood types meant you were a Nephilim. Oh yeah, that was weird. That was really weird. If God is there, he definitely liked dubstep. Yeah, man. It's something about metamorphing. I am Robin says, be alone and pray for insight to Jesus. Let Jesus explain to you. You have nothing to lose. Yeah, I did that. And the thing that I lost was my faith. So now I don't have anything to lose. And I have done it since. Yeah, but he doesn't like actually answer. All right, we've got somebody requesting up. Hey Vince, are you at least 18? Oh, it's gone. That was fast. Well, Vince, you're off the app, so I don't know if you're aware, but I can't hear you when you're off the app. So anyway, do y'all remember when I did this all the time?
Welcome in, friends, sit right here. Grab yourself another beer. Religious dogma so damn loud. But fuck that shit, you gotta quit. Where God was lost, you can be found. Deconstruct that shit in Loeb's Lounge. Deconstruct that shit in Loeb's Lounge.
Yeah, I used to play that at like the beginning of every live. But like at the beginning of every live, there's like 4 people. So I was like, why am I even doing this? I have an atheist face. Oh, thank you. I need to trim the face pubes, you know. They're getting unruly. I need to like shape it up. I like the devil beard that's like really pointy. It accentuates the chin and like the jawline. I shaved it off not that long ago. Well, I guess it was over a year ago at this point. Well, I shaved it off. And I was like, well, damn, I didn't realize that my jawline has been compromised. I need to put the beard back on. Because I had a nice jawline before I grew the beard. Cut it off, and I was like, let's get that puppy back on there ASAP. Yeah, but I mostly have the beard because I'm lazy. although my hairline is kind of making the necessity for the beard like more important. Start putting gel in the stash. Get that pointed too. Nah, I don't like that shit. I don't want to look like a old-timey saloon goer who's about to rob a train with a 6-shooter. You know what I mean? I don't like. I mean, I like the song "Entertainer" that like you would think of, like you would hear in your mind when you imagine that type of character. Uh, I love that song, but that's about as far as I'll go. I don't like the crazy like pointy swirly thing. Atheism or absurdism. They're not mutually exclusive. In fact, I think that it's more likely that you're an atheist if you're an absurdist. But you don't even have to be an atheist to be an absurdist. I'm both. Yodi joined sneakily. Yodi, you missed it. We did. Yeah, they can. Absurdists can be religious. They can. It just has to do with whether or not you believe in an afterlife. That's kind of the contention, at least according to Camus. He was like, if a Christian is a follower of Jesus, that doesn't mean that they necessarily believe in an afterlife. So, because it's all about like the futility, right? EOT. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying to you, Yodi. You just because you came in here when I was just getting started. Well, there was a wave, and now we're back down. You missed the peak. We were in the 3 digits for a good while there. I don't know. This is kind of the wave that you ride on live sometimes. It starts off with nobody, and then in the middle you're like in the 3 figures, and then you drop down. It's like it's God telling you it's time to wrap it up. You know what I mean? So you baptized in Holy Spirit once upon a time. Well, actually twice upon a time. When I was 8 and when I was probably like 20-ish, 19 or 20. Because I was like, dude, I got baptized at 8. I didn't know nearly the shit that I know now. And now I know a lot more, so I'm not a Christian anymore. Totally message from God. That's confirmed by the Yodster himself. Oh, wait, I wish I didn't say Yodster. Oh, shit, now I said it twice. Sometimes, man, God just wants you to say dumb shit when you're on live, but at least you took some of the viewers away, so fewer people saw that. After my death, I want to be a worm, then a penguin after my life. Why a worm, then a penguin? Do you think maybe would a penguin eat a worm? I don't think that they exist in the same place. Well, penguins sometimes go to Australia. Surely there's worms over there. Would they eat a worm? Their diet mostly consists of fish. Because I'm wondering if it would work like Attack on Titan, where like you get eaten by something, you become that thing. Oh wait, that's kind of spoilery. My bad. Anyway, watch Attack on Titan. It's really good. You're suppressing the truth of God, and you know it. Well, now I know it. Nobody told me that shit before. Noah fed worms to penguins on the ark. So he packed more than 2 worms. Wait, how do worms how do they do it? No way worm sex is a thing, right? Do they do like what the salmon does? Where they like lay the eggs and then the other guy comes over and just like squirts all over them? Is that what the worms do? Sometimes, though I could learn it in an instant since I have all of the information in the world, well, not all of it, but all of the available information are right at my fingertips. It's fun to refrain from learning so that you can wonder. Isn't that so interesting? Sometimes you just prefer to wonder. They just kiss. I was trying to tell them that kissing gets you pregnant, but they wouldn't listen. Computer give this guy a barrel of beard oil and make his beard grow 3 times as fast. Computer. I'm streaming on my computer. I got beard oil as a gift a few Christmases ago. I don't know where that shit went. I never opened it, and I always intended to. Chicken kiss to make the eggs, so I suppose. Is that how they do it? See, but I thought that they didn't even have to do anything to get the eggs. They kiss with their butts. Oh man. I was gonna blame that laugh on it being late, but I don't know. I think that the fact that I'm just an overgrown boy, like I just laugh at butt shit. Butt shit. I think that's the only kind of shit there is, isn't it? Butt shit. That's how they do it. God is hope. I thought God was love. Wait, no. He's supposed to be like the creator of the universe. Wait. That can't be right because the universe can't. That's not a thing that can like be created. Jesus raptured church in 66 AD. You have New Jerusalem, Holy Spirit at 20. So I'll see you in heaven one day. See ya. What? Well, I don't even know what that means. He's all. Oh, referring to God. Okay, yeah, the same person. Referring to God. He's all. So God is all. He's all good, all evil. He's all faces, all booty cheeks. He's all the things. He's the totality. He's sin. He's righteousness. Do you believe in the Spirit? Well, people can't really define spirit very well, can they? It seems pretty incoherent of an idea. Definitely he is evil. I mean, it's definitely intuitive to call God evil when you read the shit that he does. It's like, if you didn't already have to be committed to him being all good, because you have to believe that or else kind of deal, yeah, you totally read him as the villain. You say evil, but do you know what evil is? Oh yeah, it's like an extreme immorality, extreme wickedness. He's every swinging doing. Oh, you meant to say dong, but you said doing. I gotta go to bed, but computer make sure this guy has a fantastic night. What's computer? I thought it was a typo before, but you typed it exactly the same. Am I dumb? Like, is that a thing I should know about? Do you believe in conscious energy outside of the mind? No. Yeah. I don't think we're getting another guest tonight. I'll give it another few minutes. But it seems like we're really winding down. Best evidence is you. You're God's creation. My God's creation? What about my God's creation? But, like, that's just supposing the conclusion, my guy. Like, just saying that God created you because God exists because he created you. I mean, come on, man. You would probably have a better argument if you were actually speaking, though. Hey, oh man, let's see. How do I pronounce that?
Hello there, you can call me Ogi. My name is in Cyrillic, so you might not
Word, okay,
recognize it.
that's why I couldn't read it. I forgot I don't speak that. So, all right, Augie, are you at least 18?
Yes, of course, I'm 42.
Okay, 42, Augie. So, what God do you believe in?
What God? I believe that God is the first consciousness. I'm not religious.
God is the first consciousness? So,
Yes.
so God evolved on Earth and is like the first organism to develop consciousness?
No, like God is the consciousness, and material world and creation is secondary to the consciousness. So in the beginning there was the thought, and then everything else appeared to exist.
It's at the beginning there was what?
Thoughts like thinking.
Oh, thoughts. Okay, can you demonstrate that in the
Yeah,
beginning
mind.
can you demonstrate that in the beginning there were thoughts before anything else?
I cannot demonstrate anything like that.
Do you have an argument to provide rational justification for believing that's the case?
Yes, I have a rational justification. My evidence, my best evidence I've got is we observe in the universe there is complex information, especially in living organisms. So it appears that everything living is doing reverse entropy. And
Oh no,
every complex.
there's still entropy. So like I mean, evolution would be the explanation for that. This complexity developed over time.
Yes, I understand that. My point is that every complex system contains coherent information. So all information in the universe seems to have two ways to arise. So one is by chance, and the other is by intent. So we don't observe anything complex to appear without intent, or the intent is a property
Sure
of
you do.
consciousness.
Yeah,
So
sure you do. Yeah, like complex like a crystal. Crystals are pretty complex, or a snowflake, or a human brain. You know, there's obviously no intention behind the human brain because you said that you agreed with evolution. If you understand anything about evolution, you know that it is not there's no intention behind it. It's guided by selection pressures, genetic drift, and other sorts of things like this.
I understand. I have a limited understanding of evolution. They used to teach it in school, so that was 25 years ago. But my point is that, for example, the DNA contains a lot of information, and to me, it's not logical to conclude that such a complex information will appear only by chance. I think we can only observe complex information appearing through consciousness and through thought process and through some kind of mind.
Well,
For
no,
example,
it wouldn't have always been complex. It would have started off very simple, very like mundane. And once you had something like perhaps here's a popular hypothesis is that there were RNA molecules that that came into existence naturally, likely by something like underwater thermal vents. I don't know exactly all the details because I'm out of my depth talking about these details, and it's also not something that is a scientific theory, rather it's a hypothesis.
yeah,
But
I
one
know
of the
what you're
ideas is
talking
that
about.
RNA, very simple, or I don't know how simple, but it's something that can arise naturally, would have come about, and it would have eventually created DNA, and DNA creates more DNA. So RNA creates RNA and DNA creates DNA as well. And
That's my
the
point.
evolution would take over from there.
We have only hypothesis about complex structures appearing, but we are not. It seems to me that we are not able to produce any complex system or structure just by chance. For example, your PC. It is very complex system, and it is constructed by engineer who has a
Yeah.
lot of thoughts about it.
Yeah, no,
So
that's an example of something that's complex that was created with intention, and there are examples of things that are complex that were not created with intention, such
but
as
can we
biological
reproduce?
organisms and crystals. There's
I
probably other
understand that, but
examples of this might exist.
can we reproduce something complex just by chance? Are you familiar with the
So I think you
metaphor of?
might be a little misunderstood when you say by chance. I don't think that it's like chance when sperm fertilizes an egg and a baby is born. I don't think that's like by crazy coincidence a baby was born from that. I mean, I think that it was not guided with intention. It's something that happens necessarily with a margin of error, of course, because evolution is not perfect or anything like that. But this is not like just like a chance. I think that it would follow
Yeah, it's
naturally.
chance plus time and chance, and you arrive to a combination that is more successful than the other combinations. But
Right, yeah.
in
Yeah.
chemistry, to
Yeah.
have amino acid, even the most simple amino acid, uh, do you know they calculated the chance of amino acids um, arising from the ocean by chance, and it is a number with 55 zeros.
Oh, I don't know about this number, but we find them in space and we find them all over the place. I mean, we've created situations in labs where we've introduced lots of energy and amino acids were the result within a fraction of a second.
I heard about some of those experiments, but there are not many of them, so I'm skeptical about
It's
the
well, they're
research.
they're they're clearly a naturally occurring thing in the universe. We find them all sorts of places. We found I don't know if it's amino acids, but recently we found what they're calling biological or like protobiological uh sorry, like protobiomatter on Mars, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe I could fact check that real quick. But there was like a news article that came out about it because there was once water on Mars, so they were looking for places where they used to, or not used to. They're looking for places where they would have expected life or something like life, a proto version of it, to have potentially existed, and they found more or less what they were looking for.
Uh, I know also about Mars. They based on the landscapes, they concluded there was a lot more water on Mars. Actually, 20 years ago, I read a book about there was a theory that 10 million years ago that there was life on Mars. But my point is that we observe when something new and complex that is working in a certain matter and contains a lot of information in itself by itself and uses a lot of information, it always arises from consciousness or someone with
It it
mind.
it doesn't always. There's a lot of examples of it happening that way because there's so many of us and we make shit. So you've got tons of examples where intelligence creates complexity. But that doesn't make all examples of complexity uh needing a mind or needing intelligence to do it. Do you think that God is complex?
I think God is beyond complexity.
Because if God's complex, then by the premise that you're laying out here, God would need to have an intelligent creator as well. And I could only assume that that creator would be at least as complex as the God that you're referring to, maybe even more so, probably more so, which would, by your premise, necessitate that even that meta God has a God creator itself as well. And you would
No,
have
no,
to.
because God is the ultimate complexity. He is as complex as it could be,
Right,
or infinitely
right,
complex. So,
right. Okay, so hang on, let me just do something real quick. Let me do this thing here. Oh wait, I did the wrong thing. Click that. Okay, so pull this up. Zoop. Okay, so all complex things. All complex things require an intelligence to create them. God is complex. God requires an intelligence to create him.
Yes, but you may say that God is not created, or God is not in existence. He's before existence. So we can only observe the creation, but we cannot observe God. So
So
the verse.
it does not apply. You're saying it does not apply to God because he does not exist in it. He does not exist in where?
In
Existence?
creation,
In creation?
he's the only thing. Consciousness is the only thing that is not created. Consciousness.
So it's like
And
a special pleading.
yes, everything about God is extraordinary. He has no beginning, no end. He's before time.
Real quick, I
Uh,
don't, this is way off topic, but you guys need to follow Paper Cutout Theater. Hilarious shit in the comments. Yeah, so the thing is, saying this, that God is the exception to this, unless you can give a legitimate reason as to why, then this is a special
no,
pleading
I'm not
fallacy.
saying that God is the only exception of this. I'm saying that every mind and all consciousness is a exception to this, because my view of creation and the universe is that for everything to exist, it needs a mind that organizes the existence. So the mind should be before existence, therefore non-existing in that sense.
Okay, you're saying that all things with an intelligent mind are an exception to this. So that would mean that
All intelligence, no, all things, all intelligence and
all
all mind
intelligence
is.
all intelligence does not this does not apply to anything this does not apply to intelligence is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that intelligence comes into form and to existence, but is prior to existence.
So if that which is prior to existence does not exist, because existence is the totality of all that exists. Existence necessarily exists. If it's not in existence, then it does not exist.
Yes,
And if
it
God is
is the
outside of
correct.
existence, then God does not exist.
Yes, and he obviously God doesn't exist before he's before time, space, energy, and so on. By definition, God doesn't exist, but he gives rise to existence.
How can God possibly give rise to existence?
Well, the consciousness is the precursor of information. So if at the beginning nothing exists, uh, let's say for only energy exists, the organizing principle behind energy is mind. So the mind is the only thing that can organize
So this is just a
energy.
restating of your original claim that we were trying to get the bottom of, right? Maybe I can provide an argument for why I don't think what you're saying can be the case, that God can create the universe. Let me see. I guess it could be something like, um, What do you think about this? Premise 1, causes are either before or simultaneous to their effects. God is outside of time. If God is outside of time, then he cannot be before or simultaneous to anything. Conclusion, God is not a cause.
This is correct logic, but my point is that intent is what creates existence, and intent is what consciousness does by virtue of thinking. So first you have just the thought, and you don't have anything else, but the thought arranges the energy, or they call them primordial waters or whatever in religious context. But the intent is what makes the connection between mind and cause. So
Do you have a
the
do you have
beginning.
a response to the argument? Because you said that it's correct in logic, and if it's correct in logic, then to assume the contrary would to be illogical.
What I'm saying is that God or consciousness has the intent, and the intent is connection between what is not created and what is created.
I don't think I don't. Does that respond to what I've written out here?
Well, it is just correction of what you wrote, because you at C you say God is not the cause, but let me just read it one more time. God cannot be before synthesis. But time is just an effect of things moving in space, and space exists only because you have things to measure the space between them. And if things arise or are created from nothing, then you can see how the thought and the intent is the beginning of everything.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying that causes exist exclusively in time, which is basically what this syllogism is meant to. It seems like you agree with the syllogism, but you're saying that God is not a cause of the universe, but maybe he grounds the universe, or he is ontologically prior or something. Is that what you're kind of trying to get at?
Yeah, it's ontologically prior. You don't have cause and effect if you don't have space and time and objects.
And you said that he's
If you
like
have,
he said he like created existence.
yes, imagine if there is only energy, and all energy is the same with no difference. What creates difference in energy is the intent puts ripples in the energy, and
Well, that isn't true. It's just effects and fluctuations in the energy, right? It's something. I mean, if you were to get hit by a falling rock or something, that would affect your energy. You would gain kinetic energy from being struck by the rock. There wouldn't have to be any intent involved.
yes, but my point is that what is happening in the beginning, as it says in some religious text, at the beginning there was God, and the Logos, is that the correct word, was God. So God said, "Let there be light." This means that at the beginning, basically, the first thing produced is produced of a mind or a thought that was somehow transmitted into what is without meaning and existence, and change it somehow. So that was my point about information and complex information. That to me it seems that consciousness arranges what is otherwise chaotic, and in this act we see creation appearing. Sorry, my English is bad. Maybe you cannot understand what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like think while I listen, and it's proving difficult. Hang on a second.
Are you in the United States?
Yeah.
Do you know Bill Hicks, the stand-up comedian?
I don't.
Well, there is a very famous saying of his. He used to close with that saying that we are just light or energy condensed to slow vibration and so on. He basically he has the same logic.
Okay, what do you think about this? Existence is the totality of all that exists. That which exists prior to existence would exist before it existed. Conclusion is a contradiction.
Yes, it's contradiction because what is prior to existence does not exist.
Right.
Are your thoughts existing?
They exist, yeah. But nothing. If there is no existence, then nothing exists.
But how can you prove that your thoughts exist? When you speak, for example.
Yeah, well, so if you want to talk about absolute knowledge, I can't give you absolute knowledge of anything, but I can give you very compelling evidence that I am having thoughts. That's all I can really do. But
yes,
can you
my point.
Can you respond to the syllogism?
I don't know that word.
Can you respond to the argument I have on the screen?
Yes, I did respond it. What that which exists prior to existence would exist before they existed. I'm saying that thoughts does not exist. If you want to provide me with evidence that your thoughts exist, you have to word them, and you put them into existence as a sound and information which I cannot, which I can interpret. But before that, your thoughts have no qualities of something that exists.
What I'm saying is that if thoughts exist, then existence exists. So if thoughts created existence, then something that exists created itself.
Well, if God is before time,
before time doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing about God makes any sense. But
I grant that.
We can only observe the effects and judge about what is before them. But that is the difficulty of God cannot be explained. You can explain the qualities or the effects of consciousness or God.
If God cannot be explained, then I would say that you don't have any justifiable reason to believe it exists.
Well, you believe things that you don't know. For example, if I want to buy a bottle of water and I don't know where to buy it, and I ask someone where can I have some bottle of water, and the guy told me down the streets and to the left, I have to believe him. I don't know if there is water there, but once I found the water, I'm free of believing. I already know where the water is. So by definition, to believe something is to follow something that you don't know.
No, it's not, because knowledge is a subset of belief. You can believe something and know something. I would say that knowledge is a justified true belief, which would make it a subset of belief.
Well, I guess in many conversations I reached that point about belief, and actually a lot of Muslims think that you can only believe of things that you are provided with evidence for them. But I guess this is just argument about definition
I
of
think that,
belief.
right, but I think that you should only believe things that you can make, like, that you can give justification for believing in. If you can't justify the belief, then you aren't justified in holding the belief.
Well, the belief of God can be justified in many ways without proving God. But I don't find that sufficient to say, yeah, God definitely exists.
Well, sure. If you raise the probability above 50%, then I'd say you're justified in believing it. I'm just wondering how we would even quantify that.
Listen, I have to go to work because here is 10 in the morning. I'm happy to have a conversation. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak with you. I will follow you because you are a rare atheist. I can have at least a reasonable conversation with you. Most
I'll
atheists,
say this, man. I was practicing patience, but it's also because I'm very sleepy. It's almost 3 in the morning. Hey, Saintly, thank you for the heart me. Yeah, it's almost 3 in the morning, so I'm over a little bit. I'm gonna call it here too in a minute. But thank you for coming up. You were at least cordial. I appreciate that. And have a good day at work. Yeah. Let me check this out real quick. Let me look at this. Okay. Well, guys, tonight's live had some ups, it had some downs, it had its highs, it had its lows. I don't even know what to make of my viewership. It goes like crazy. It goes really high. It drops low. I mean, it's in the middle. I used to be really consistent. You could be like, I'm averaging such and such. It's hard to even tell anymore. But I thank you for the 42 of you who are still hanging out here. Thank you for the 5,000 likes. Let me do this real quick. Yeah, thanks for the 5,000. Oh, actually, almost 6,000 likes. Thank you for all the shares. Thank you for all the gifts. I warned you, though. I did sing that song for you. So, that's what you get for not adhering the warning. I've got a Discord server if you want to join that. The link's in the bio. Rat Soup down there in the comment section in the chat. Make sure you follow him. He joins me on Wednesdays. Let me see who's live. We can go raid. Alright. Let's all go over to Tiny Science. And I'm not gonna play a song tonight like I usually do. Because it's like, I'm really sleepy and everything. But we'll go raid Tiny Science. He's live. He's probably in the middle of it. I don't assume he's gonna end it anytime soon. I love Absurdist. See you guys on Tuesday. Maybe Monday even.